Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tackle Productions. Today, I Bankrupt being joined again by Matt and Jake.
Hey everybody.
What's going on, y'all?
And today's matchup is me versus Matt, Red Gogeta versus AOD. Let's get into this. Matt, it has been some time since you played Red Gogeta, so before we go into these matchups, how did it feel to replay the deck?
It's not great. It's red is not in the best place right now relative to the other colors. It's probably second to worst, maybe middle of the pack if we're being generous. It's not great. I beat earlier in the night in a non-recorded game. I beat a Soul Striker deck, but the person I was playing really didn't have all the cards he needed to run it effectively, and I found the deck. I just don't think red's in a great place.
Really? Because I figured, at least in this matchup, where he's going so wide with battle cards, I figured Gogeta's removal would be just, on time in this matchup.
There is an earlier video somewhere on this channel of when these two decks played before, from about 3 or 4 months ago. And I'm not sure if Bancroft has made alterations to his AOD deck since then, or I'm not sure what exactly the difference is, but I have just found that this deck does not operate, this deck being my Red Gogeta, operate anywhere near as efficiently as it used to.
The big difference, and I'll talk about it when we get to a point, but I remember what that match you're referring to, and there was a huge mistake I made that was called out to me, and I made sure I would not make that mistake a second time. So like when we get to that point, we'll kind of talk about it. So early on in the match, you did pass turn, but you asked to go ahead and use your was it Birth of the Super Warrior? Is that what it is, right?
Yeah, I won the the dice roll, and I just wanted to play the Birth of the Super Warrior.
That's not a problem, but getting rid of my Bobbity does hurt. But this deck does have solutions of bringing it back. I think you made a comment about it, like, if I get rid of that, I can slow you down. I'm like, yeah, but there are ways to bring it back.
Yeah, it's not a huge spoiler here. It comes back very quickly. In retrospect, I don't believe I've seen a Piccolo Unison. I'm not sure I see a Piccolo Unison really all game, to be honest. But in retrospect, the Piccolo Unison would have been the vastly superior play than killing the Bobbity, especially in light of how I've seen you operate this version of AOD.
I don't know if that Piccolo gets around barrier, unfortunately.
It doesn't, but it does allow me to get off cheap counterplays to deal with his board spamming.
True.
But while the Bobbity remains, what I did not realize was how easily he's able to get Bobbity back on the table after removing.
Although you see one in his energy and one on the board, you might, it's tough not to make that call to just nuke it and pass the turn.
And then Bancroft, will you tell our fine viewers how you got it back from the graveyard?
So before anyone calls it out, I saw 3 of the 4 Hatchjacks early on in the game, and that's why one is charged. And I used one, and I used another one in the drop. Hatch brings Bobbity from your drop area or your deck to the field, which is pretty nice. So as soon as he popped it, I was like, cool, I have a solution for this. I'm fine.
Here we find me, at this point in the game, I'm wanting to go into... I do not have the 6-drop Gogeta in my hand, and I'm thinking, well, I'm drawing 3 cards. What's the worst that could happen? Well, the worst that could happen is I don't draw into the 6-drop.
And I was waiting for that to happen. And I mean, in retrospect, it nags something by 20k, either a battle card or a Unison, right? The 6-drop.
Yeah, the 6-drop. It doesn't ignore barrier.
But I did negate your potential leader attack because I knew you would awaken, and I didn't want that double strike coming at me. With the Garlic Jr. allowed me to put Turles on the board. But I knew, like, if you're able to play the 6-drop, Turtles will be gone anyways, but Gigantic Meteorite is such a good tech, because I always forget that it has to be a red Saiyan leader and not the Broly leader, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm glad that that card has more than one application because it is such a unique effect and one that Red really needs right now.
Here I am wasting a super combo on a single strike swing in the hopes of finding a 6-drop Gogeta, and I fail.
This gave me the idea of like, okay, cool. He hasn't seen it yet, so I know how I need to play these next couple of turns.
I thought I had really bought my time. Or stuttering. I thought I had really bought myself some time with Giant Meteor. Bancroft, what is the power level on the typical AOD character? Is it 15 or 16?
They range between 15 and 20.
So some are 15s and some are 20s.
So majority of the 2 cost cards are 15. The 3 costs are 20.
That makes sense. You don't want to give too much power to the lower drops.
I mean, for how wide this deck can go.
Yeah.
And I think we're about to see me. I might play another. No, okay. Because could be potentially an awaken turn here. I know I expend that energy somehow before I awaken. I just don't remember if it's with the Garlic Jr. or if I straight up pay 2 for something first.
I think you used the Agents card there in your drop area.
That's free to play as long as you have Bobby on the board because it has the permanent discards considered agent and destruction. So that way its cost is reduced, which is really nice.
Use energy, yeah.
We want to give the fans here of our wonderful channel a preview of where I am taking my love for Gogeta next. Just very quickly, it's our hope that Fluff will be profiling a black Xeno Gogeta deck.
Fluff is currently injured.
Oh, that's right. He died. I'm sorry. Forgot.
Shit, he's alive. I gotta make a phone call.
But regardless of that, what I'm really excited about next set is the blue Vegeta promo leader that allows us to run both red and blue Gogeta cards.
I know I hit
hang on, Matt. Hang on a second. Jake, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just wrapping up. I'll be done. Just go without me.
You want to mute your mic for us?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right, continue now, Matt.
This new Vegeta promo leader that for the pre-release allows you to essentially run red and blue Gogeta pieces. So it's a red-blue deck. But the leader, correct me if I'm wrong, Bancroft, it's mono blue.
Yes.
So it allows me to fulfill my lifelong dream of red Gogetas with Baby Hatch SCR.
Potentially, yeah. As long as you have, I don't remember if the energy has to be. I think she has a 3 energy and a blue leader. I think I may be wrong on that, but I think that's all you need.
Jimmy, can you come off the top rope, or is your microphone muted?
I'm not here. I'm not here.
Unlike Fluff, he is not dead. He's just not available.
I don't know who this Fluff guy is.
So let's do some catching up real quick.
Also, I'm on a blue leader 3 energy.
Such a good card too.
Yes. So we'll do some quick catching up. The negate that Matt had used didn't actually negate the attack, it just negged the attacking card by 10k. And because it is the leader that was attacking, the attack is still going through. Comboed with the Bojack to pay the 1 energy to play it. Now if he wants to swing at the 5-drop, he has to actually swing at the battle card because the battle card in rest mode restricts him from swinging if the energy is, if I'm correct, battle card is greater than or equal to the current energy. And then I think
it was 3.
Yeah. And then I free played the other Bojack to keep your leader tapped. Because like I said, you weren't seeing your big boy, and I was like, I just gotta restrict your draws as much as possible.
And the one mistake I made in this game is I'm not gonna make excuses. It was just a massive screw up on my part. I misunderstood the mechanics of that card. I did not realize that he was doing that with the Bojack. I thought he was somehow and maybe it's just been so long since I've played AOD. I thought he was somehow doing it with his leader, just paying 2 energy to lock mine. So that's why I did. That's why you're watching this and thinking, why hasn't this idiot tried to, remove that Bojack? It's because this idiot failed to realize that's how he was doing it. And there was another misplay again because I haven't played Red in so long. I tried to evolve the 8-drop, the OG 8-drop on top of the 5, which it's not power locked, it's energy locked.
Yeah, it needs a 6.
So it's just, this is, part of this is just sufficient ring rust, as they say. Haven't played this deck in months, and AOD's a really, really good deck. And Bancroft pilots it exceedingly well.
I was just about to say, even with this 5-drop, even though you haven't hit your 6-drop yet, it's putting in more work than it would against like a normal deck, since it can't be KO'd. That would be Bancroft's main form of removal against this 5. So even though it looks like he's in the lead now, like the threat of you drawing that 6 is just looming.
And Bancroft is you're at 4 energy. Yeah, he's at 4 life.
So this is the play I was referring to early in the game. In the match that Matt was mentioning, I had charged Android 13, hoping to see another one, forgetting that Topo's cost is reduced during your opponent's turn, and it can be counterplayed with Android 13. So you still have to discard a card, not with the Topo effect, but with my card's effect now.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm just getting brutally shut down by, as you can see. I think I have 2 cards in hand. Like, at one point in this game, I'm thinking to myself, I don't have the resources to discard a card to use my super combo.
That's a rough spot to be in, where you have to take a damage to even combo out of anything.
Yeah.
So here you Topo a second time, and I'm like, that's fine, I'm just going to pass. I don't really want to give you any extra resources, and I don't gain anything from swinging with the leader. So
here I decide, to, and again, I probably shouldn't have played the energy, because I have a super combo in hand, and I can't swing with my leader, so it's like, how am I going to draw anything? So that was, in retrospect, I wish I hadn't played the energy. I wish I just swung with, something and super comboed and, hope to see the 6. But again, the main, mess up was just not killing the stupid Bojack, just because I didn't bother to understand how the card worked.
I think it was this turn, on my turn 5, when you actually realize, I'm like, yeah, it's the Bojack.
And I've known for quite some time that this game was functionally over. Like, the thing with AOD is, if I don't beat it on turn 5, or really it needs to be beaten on turn 4. Turn 5, I mean, you can always Hail Mary, depending on what your SCR is. I think the last time I beat it was with the Gohanks SCR, just paying 5 and negging it 4. But typically, if you're past turn 4 with AOD, you're in serious trouble.
I will say, actually, to correct that a little bit more, a true aggro build of AOD could win turn 2 or turn 3. But we play at our locals a lot. A lot of people tend to play more defensive and more controlled-based decks. I have mine built to go. If it could go turn 3, great. But it can also go to later games and be just fine as well. The problem is that the later you get with this deck, the harder your resources become, because you only have so many cards that can actually draw you cards or search you cards, because once you awaken, you can no longer search with the leader's awaken abilities. But you get the 6-drop.
6-drop has finally arrived.
Is it enough?
And here I'm just letting you know, like, my negate's going through. Now you get to choose what target. And you're like, yeah, no, just get rid of your Bojack. I'm like, okay, just wanted to make sure.
Finally.
Because at this point now, he can resend his leader next turn. Because in this particular build, I only play one of those Bojacks. But like I said, in best of threes, that's a sideboard card. Like I put more
Oh
in my
yeah,
deck.
you could definitely bring more in. I mean, keeping him off of that double strike and adding cards to his hand while you're ripping cards out of his hand with your androids. It's just really a punishing way of life at this point.
Bancroft, what's the SCR in AOD?
The one I currently play is Pan.
She did not make an appearance this game.
I don't think this game. She makes an appearance in an earlier game this week when I was playing in Super 17.
Who was playing Super 17? Nick?
One of the newer guys, Byron, and he was playing it pretty well. I mean, like it was I think Jake saw that match. It was a lot closer.
As we like to call it, an ass greaser.
So here, you're pretty low on resources. You let me draw the 2 cards, and you did negate with Violent Raids, but you chose not to do anything with it, which my board is majority 15k, so it's kind of hard to discern. Like, if you call the battle card, you're only stopping my blocker, you know?
Yeah, that's why I have no resources, so I chose not to discard a card, because your board, as you said, is 15k. In retrospect, I should have declared Unison, because you always run that double strike boo.
Yeah, well,
because it's a fantastic Unison.
Just not the boo, but also Vegeta. Both of them are double strikes. And here, you just do a super combo, just like see what you can get, and unfortunately, nothing came to you that could help you in this situation.
So it was not one of my better performances, but it was a nice showcase of the strength of AOD, so it was worth putting on the channel.
And, I mean, it's always a great deck. Great leader. Also want to point out our friends over at TCG Metals. Check them out. It's great. They have a lot of amazing leaders. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Keep in mind there's buttons down below and on the screen. And like always, read your cards, know your place, and fluff out.